I was just watching an action movie from an island country in the bathroom, when I realized that I, who used to be a real man with 30 seconds of stamina, had this time lasted for a full minute. Just as I wondered why I had become so strong, an accident occurred. Ding host detected. Brother, you only have 30 seconds. Shame on you, man. Click on the phone to comment 666 to awaken your manly system. Driven by curiosity, I subconsciously clicked in. This system is dedicated to creating Avengers with a 5-step strategy. There have been countless success stories. Please feel free to use it. What Avengers? Before I could blink, the phone screen automatically jumped again. Step 1. If you want to do a good job, you must first sharpen your tools. Wow, it's even written in classical Chinese. I was just about to see what other tricks were in store, but an angry roar scared the hell out of me. How'd I gonna give you 30 seconds if you don't come out again? You're dead today. After suddenly hearing this, my heart instantly became cold. I didn't have time to clean up the mess, so I pulled up my pants and rushed out. At the toilet door, I saw a beautiful woman in professional attire, looking at me with a stern expression. This woman was my immediate supervisor, Su Yao. What a shock! What a mess! I really want to. With lightning speed, I glanced at the other person and quickly lowered my head. I smiled sheepishly. Hello, manager. Su Yao subconsciously covered her nose with her hand. Disgusted, what were you doing in there? I was taken aback and immediately denied. No way, absolutely not. Manager, I'm a big, good person. Why would I do such a dirty thing in the toilet? Who would admit to something like that? Unless they're crazy. Unexpectedly, Su Yao's next words really made me feel like I kicked myself. Right, it's already half past the hour, and it's impossible to have taken this long. Damn it, this has escalated to a personal attack. Seriously, if conditions permit, I really want the demon girl in front of me to experience what it means to be unable to stop before I could even process it in my head. Su Yao spoke with disgust. You were goofing off at work. Your performance this month will be dark 50. Come to my office later to sign the penalty. Before the words had even finished, he twisted his body to the beat and turned to leave. What? It's going to be dark 50. Usually it's only 10, right? You can say I'm short, but you can't dog this much. After all, lies don't hurt. But dogging money really kills. So before Su Yao had gone far, I was about to speak up to save the situation, when I suddenly noticed something was wrong with my friend. It seemed like he had just been touched. I looked down along with his gaze and froze instantly. Since when did my friend have such a great body? Is this what the crosswords in the first episode meant? As I waited with excitement for the second episode to appear, a familiar voice once again sounded in my ear. Do you like it? Shut up, I'm busy right now. He subconsciously replied, without realizing anything was wrong. Do you want me to study it with you? Together to realize that something is wrong, I looked up, and a familiar face was staring at me with a smile. Seeing this, I laughed miserably. Manager, what a coincidence. Su Yao's face showed a dangerous expression. Yes, it really is a coincidence. You are getting more and more daring. How dare you watch porn in front of the toilet door? Manager, you are wrong me. I was just learning how to become a stud. Su Yao immediately interrupted impatiently. You're right. I hate men like you who have the guts to do, but not the guts to admit it. Today, in addition to dogging you 50 accounting school, I will also fine you an additional day's salary. And you must come to my office to sign the paper immediately. After signing this, he walked away without looking back. Ding, congratulations. Host awakening step 2, Lichen negative Kidu. Surprised, strong and vigorous. Host's first strategy, the female protagonist Su Yao. She likes to take care of herself. She loves the number 69. Obsessed with power, obsessed with stock speculation. Adores money and a high-quality life. Recently, due to the stock market crash, she is in huge debt. In order to maintain her current quality of life and recoup her losses, she is willing to take risks and embezzle company funds. I rubbed my eyes repeatedly to make sure I wasn't seeing things, and was instantly overjoyed. As the saying goes, a hero doesn't bear grudges. Today, I will make this demon woman, Su Yao, feel the taste of a violent output from a strong man. Why did you take so long to come in? Did you not understand what I just said? I had just entered the office when Su Yao's unceremonious questioning voice came at me. But I didn't take it seriously, and silently turned back to close the door. And promptly locked it, such as saying, Suyao sneered, "You're so stubborn, aren't you? I'll see, what's on your mind? Is money more important, or face?" Suyao deliberately released a little of her suppressed fullness. "What's going on? Didn't you say you'd be scolded when you came in? Why are you offering benefits, in the spirit of if you don't look, you don't pay?" I took a few more glances. Suyao didn't stop, and immediately sneered, "You openly disobeyed your leader in the office, and will find 150 yuan. I'm speechless. If you don't agree, then please go to the door now and shout manager 3 times. I'm sorry, please forgive me, and I'll waive your punishment." I was first taken aback, and then coldly questioned the manager. "Isn't this going too far? There doesn't seem to be such a clause in the department's penalty regulations. Besides, I only glanced at you a few times just now, and it wasn't even close to the time limit." Suyao, on the other hand, looked like an amateur and the department manager, and the final right of interpretation lies with my department. If there's no penalty regulations, I can add them now. After that, Suyao gave me a look of amusement. She wanted to see which was more important to me, money or face. Seeing this situation, I simply stopped pretending, and directly sat down on the sofa nearby, crossing my legs, and looking at Suyao with the same expression. Seeing this, Suyao's anger instantly exploded. "What a big nerve! Did I give you face? Who told you to sit down? You stand up right now, or you will be responsible for the consequences," he said, and threw a resignation letter at him. "Manager, you really think about the company. Even firing someone, you throw out a resignation letter. Instead of a dismissal letter, the manager told me to resign. Fine. But you have to consider the consequences. After all, you don't want that kind of thing to be known, do you? That kind of thing makes me consider the consequences." After a moment of shock, Suyao immediately sneered. "Brother Hao, you shouldn't have watched too many dramas. You think you can threaten people with just a few words. I feel the need to remind you, this is not Lin Daddy's dog-headed country. And I am not the woman in your head who can be manipulated by anyone." After listening to her, I looked at Suyao with a smile that looked like a sneer. I greedily looked at Suyao's unusually plump figure, and then said in a very teasing tone, "Manager Su, if I were to report your embezzlement of company funds to General Manager Liu, do you think he would immediately investigate thoroughly and use you as an example to warn others?" Liwei. At the same time as the sound of her voice fell, a flash of panic crossed Suyao's eyes. Before she sneered, "This is your so-called trump card, a means of threatening me. I advise you to stop daydreaming." After Suyao finished speaking, she turned her back directly, without even daring to look at me, which made me even more certain that Suyao was panicking. There is a saying, explanation is concealment, and concealment is the truth. After hearing Suyao's words, I didn't say a word, and walked directly and briskly towards the door. From the time I left the office, Suyao would be plunged into endless worry. It wouldn't be long before she definitely sought help from me and returned. A few minutes later, Suyao in the office was at a loss for words, and a little at a loss. After a fierce battle of the mind, Suyao still decided to simplify the complex problem and solve it with a broad mind. So after a moment's hesitation, she picked up her phone and dialed my number. She walked to a corner of the building, and I answered Suyao's call. "Manager Su, what can I do for you?" I laughed at first, knowing full well that you know the answer. Suyao obviously suppressed her anger. "You're wrong about me. Manager, I'm a bit dumb. I really don't understand what you mean. Why don't you explain it to me? Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll misunderstand and accidentally go to the wrong office. If I say something I shouldn't, then there will be some trouble." After Suyao had adjusted her emotions, he said in a slightly weak-kneed tone, "Brother, come in first. We're at least colleagues in the same department. I thought we see each other all the time. If you have any requests, let's discuss them behind closed doors, and agree to disagree. There's no need to make things so unpleasant." I laughed at this, but in my heart, I still liked your unruly, uninhibited ways. "How could you be so soft now? Why don't you try to change back? Maybe if you scold me a bit more and make me feel better, I'll agree." When Suyao heard this in the office, her face immediately flinched. After picking up the paper, after a moment's hesitation, Suyao asked straight away, "Go ahead. What will it take for you to come in?" As soon as these words came out, the curve of the corner of my mouth could no longer be suppressed. and the smile on my face was about to pile up uncontrollably. Manager, you may not believe what I say, I have always been a good man, especially when I listen to my girlfriend and wife. Unfortunately, I have neither a girlfriend nor a wife. How about this? You call me husband. Maybe then I will go in. Hearing this, Suyao suddenly felt her bonds tighten. Zhiyao felt in her heart an inexplicable and indescribable feeling. But this time she did not hesitate for too long. Before I had completely finished speaking, she called out at a speed that surprised me. Hubby, can you come in for a second? Is this woman really that casual? She didn't even struggle before shouting out so easily to a man with whom she has no emotional foundation. And shouting out no, I can't accept it. I started to implement the final interpretation of rights. Manager, you can't do this either. It's just like a robot. There's no emotion in what you say. It's hard for me to feel the taste of having a partner. Facing such shameless words, even if Suyao tried her best to hold back, she couldn't help but grit her teeth a little. Luckily, you're being a bully. I'm not going to pretend. I'll just admit it directly and generously. Yes, I'm being a bully. But manager, you can't blame me for this. The reason I'm like this is because I'm following your example. So I don't think what I'm doing is actually at all excessive at this moment, Suyao reluctantly convinced herself for the sake of everything she had. Honey, I miss you. Can you come in now? I'm going to sacrifice myself anyway. Suyao simply pulled out the super enhanced version. He won't believe it. With this kind of emotional, so to the point of unable to tease the sound stimulation. This big root can still pick out the thorns. I naturally can pick out the thorns, because I never thought Suyao would be so rushed off guard. Almost didn't have a quick-witted and lost the phone. After a few seconds, I just recovered from the excitement just now. Manager, I thought you weren't a casual person. Unexpectedly, being casual is really a bit inhuman. Tell the truth. Is this your true appearance? Cut the crap. I've done what you ask. Now it's time for you to keep your promise. Without hesitation, I answered. Of course, a gentleman's word is like a pledge. I've always been a man of my word. A few minutes later, I entered Suyao's office. As soon as I did, Suyao, who was hiding behind the door, immediately closed it and locked it. I was so shocked that I didn't know what to say. Suyao didn't give me a direct answer, but said with a suspicious look, "What do you mean? It's only this far away. Why did it take you so long to come in?" I laughed when I saw this. What was going on at the time, so that's why. The manager may not believe what I'm about to say. I was just about to walk to the door of Mr. Liu's office. If it weren't for the many years of our relationship, I wouldn't have come back here. Quickly tell me how you're going to thank me. Suyao saw that I was bullshitting again, so she went straight to the point. Get up. Because she knew, the longer the delay, he would only suffer. Just said. What do you really want? Suyao asked loudly. What do I want? I smiled at Suyao and said, let me think about it. While we were talking, my gaze kept falling on the mountains in front of him and never moved. Seeing this, Suyao suddenly raised her hand. I thought this woman was going to resist. But then what she did next was a bit unexpected. I know what you're thinking, so let's not waste any more time on all this nonsense. Just say it. How far do you want me to go before you let me go? Suyao said while looking at me in a posture she had never done before. Looking at Suyao in front of me, who was completely different from before, I was a little overwhelmed. But Suyao would not give me time to think. She was always a person of action, because she knew that a man's IQ was basically zero when he saw something that he really wanted, so she decided to trade space for time. And his chance came, so he lowered his noble head and began to swallow deeply. It was that simple. But I always feel like the one who loses out. An hour later, Hadagan, who had just returned to his workstation, looked at the screen in front of him and felt that something was wrong. He felt like he had just done something, but hadn't done anything. He just felt empty. Could it be that it was too fast? No, it couldn't be. It had been almost 50 minutes, and he was almost as fast as some naturally gifted readers. Or maybe after the fact, his head was empty, and the requests he made afterwards were too simple. The more he thought about it, the more Hadagan felt that this was a more likely possibility. Hey, forget about it. The worst that can happen is that he can make up for it next time. After a while of cursing and swearing, Hadagan decisively put aside all the miscellaneous thoughts in his head and looked at the time. to make sure it was almost 5 o'clock. Then he took out his phone and looked at the stock market. Under normal circumstances, the Chinese stock market closes at 3 o'clock, and it was almost 2 o'clock, so he thought that the final result should be out by now. Although he was 99% sure that the hint prompt wouldn't go wrong, he was afraid of the worst and didn't want to take any chances. He couldn't rest easy until he personally took a look and confirmed the situation. He had to know that the 100,000 yuan he had borrowed from loan sharks online was really at stake. If something really happened to him, he would really have to enjoy the thrill of a beautiful woman collecting the debt in person. Baofeng Technology rose 10.1% and made a profit of 20,151 yuan. It was as simple as that. Looking at the 20,000 yuan in front of him, Ha Dagon felt as if it was a lifetime ago. It didn't feel real. He clicked in again to take a look at the wiring of Baofeng Technology to confirm that the stock price was firmly flying on the limit upward. After that, he was instantly so excited that he couldn't help himself. Brother, we're really going to be rich from now on. It was probably because he was so excited. Ha Dagon didn't control his emotions for a moment. He couldn't help but lean over the table. This sudden popping sound immediately attracted the attention of many people. Fortunately, everyone was indifferent to the matter. They were in a mindset of minding one's own business and buried their heads in their books again as soon as they heard the sound. It was obvious that everyone had been tamed. Of course, there were always exceptions. Zhang Ya, for some reason, after disappearing for half a day, was actually shocked by Ha Dagon's actions, and as soon as he returned to his seat, he began to wink at Ha Dagon. Yo, Dagon, was that feeling good just now? Ha Dagon was momentarily stunned. What the hell? How did this guy know that he was just? Could it be that the woman CEO has a special fetish and installed a webcam in the office to secretly broadcast? Just as Ha Dagon was a bit disheveled, this guy Zhang Ya did speak again. Hey, what's this expression? It's just that he was locked in the office by the manager and scolded for a few hours. It's not something to be ashamed of. Is there a need to be so panicked? Knowing that it was a false alarm, Ha Dagon's face started to twitch. But Zhang Ya was relentless. It's not Dagon. What's the face of yours? I'll tell you. Buddy, in order to comfort your little heart that has been hurt by the manager, I took a big risk and went shopping for you. Before the words had finished falling from his lips, Zhang Ya began to scan the surroundings. When he saw the matchmaker approaching, he immediately pulled something mysteriously from his trouser pocket. Here, 19.9 for a box. It should be enough for you. Ha Dagon. Zhang Ya, what? You still don't think it's enough? Let me tell you. Dagon, you need to recognize your own strength. This should be enough for you for a few months. Dagon remained silent. He turned his body silently to show his rapidly increasing strength. At first, Zhang Ya didn't understand what he meant. He pointed at Dagon and said, let me tell you. When you reward yourself in the future, remember to protect your brothers, or you will easily get athlete's foot. By the way, the day before yesterday, I went for a walk in the village near the company and found that there is a chicken restaurant there. It's really not much. Why don't I give you? At this point, he suddenly stopped, as if he had discovered something terrible, and exploded into foul language, just as Ha Dagon thought. The other party was marveling at his strong capital. Zhang Zhi's next words almost made him pass away in place. Damn it, Dagon. Did you take advantage of the fact that I stopped eating now? Why are there lipstick marks all over your collar? Lipstick marks? What lipstick marks? At first, Ha Dagon didn't react, and just thought that Zhang Ya couldn't bear the excitement of looking directly into the lair of the dragon, and was raving incoherently. But immediately he remembered that what the other person said was very likely true, because after leaving the office, he had been too high to attend to the funeral arrangements. As expected, he only slightly reached out and touched his face, and between his fingers there was a little bit of rosy color. Such a scene suddenly caused Zhang Ya to become indignant. Damn, Dagon, you're not a good friend. Quickly tell me which girl is so inconsiderate. How could you be so lucky? Okay, Dagon ignored him, and just turned on the camera on his phone, and began to silently destroy the evidence in front of Zhang Zhi's face. Seeing this, Zhang Ya cursed even more. It wasn't Dagon. You had the guts to do this behind your brother's back. Why didn't you dare admit it? Brothers and sisters are connected at heart. I was thinking of going out with you after work to eat chicken, and you actually played mind games with me, secretly hooked up with a girl. and destroyed the evidence. I'm telling you. If you don't tell the truth, I'm going to start a rumor. As he spoke, it seemed as if he suddenly remembered something. Zhang Ya, if you don't shut up, I swear the manager will come out and help me fix you up. So you know what it means to joke around. How could that be? Zhang Ya may not have noticed at first what Hao Dagen said in the second half, and shook his head in disbelief. But then, it was as if he had heard something that shocked his worldview, and his whole body instantly became stunned. As if you were fucking kidding me. It's not Dagen. You little shit. Are you trying to scare me? Your manager? What do you mean? The lipstick tone on your face is that of a manager. He probably was afraid of being hurt by others. Zhang Ji's voice got lower and lower as he spoke, but his facial expression became more exaggerated than ever. Hao Dagen, on the other hand, was expressionless. So what do you think? Zhang Ya shook his head desperately. No way, absolutely not. You must be unwilling to admit the fact that Zhou Ya is taking over the reins. That's why you're saying this. It must be like this. But looking at Hao Da's confident expression on his face, Zhang Ya felt that he didn't seem to be pretending. So, thousands of words were reduced to just 4 words full of resentment. Why, we're both losers. Why did she pick you? That's not fair. Hao Dagen laughed in contempt. Loser? Come on, there are different kinds of losers. Some are big shots, some are small fry. How can they be treated the same? Zhang Ya was about to say something else, but then he suddenly noticed that the office door had opened at that moment. And then he was punished. Zhang Ya, come in for a second. When Su Yao's slightly hoarse voice came from inside, he finally knew that this guy Hao Dagen was really not joking. So he immediately broke out into a smile. Dagen, you know that I've always regarded you as a brother. Hao Dagen didn't say anything in classical Chinese, and just lightly spread open his right hand. The meaning was very clear. Pay to avoid trouble. Zhang Ya immediately understood at seeing this, and gritted his teeth, pulling out a stack of bills from his pocket. 800 yuan. This is the money I need to go to the village tomorrow to pick up girls. I'll give it all to you. It was clear that he was going to pay protection money. He was trying to cut a one-time loss to gain lifelong protection. Hao Dagen didn't mince words. After receiving the money, he counted it out with a serious look. Yes, that's right. It's 800 yuan. The conditions are acceptable. Lao Zhang always brings this much money when he goes to the village. If I remember correctly, isn't 80 enough? Zhang Ya hurriedly smiled and said, not at all. Just as he thought that after Hao Dagen had received the money, he would help him avoid today's and even all future troubles. An unexpected scene appeared that made Zhang Ya speechless. Hao Dagen refunded the money. Okay, Lao Zhang, my friend was just bragging. And you actually believed him, not to mention the manager's appearance and figure. Can devote himself to me. Zhang Ya instantly froze. Then you just said so categorically, and the office door is so big Dagen spread his hands. It's just a coincidence. Besides, if I didn't do it this way, would you be willing to give me the money? Then here's 700 yuan for you. As for the other 100 yuan, you promised me. I'll reluctantly accept it. After saying this, Hao Dagen, in Zhang Ji's stunned gaze, got up and left, leaving him standing there, dumbfounded, and welcoming an unknown fate. Soon after, at the sink, looking at his skin in the mirror, which had been wiped until it was slightly reddened, Hao Dagen couldn't help but complain. Su Yao, this woman wouldn't be using some kind of inferior product, would she? Otherwise, how come it's so hard to wipe off? He looked more closely to make sure there wasn't a trace left on it. He turned around and was about to leave, when he turned his head just a little and took 2 steps before nearly bumping into 2 large mountains. He looked up and realized it was Su Yao. Seeing her, Hao Dagen immediately smiled and showed off his 8 big white teeth. Manager, what a coincidence. I'm still hungry. Do you want me to? Su Yao ignored him and just sidled away. Hey, manager, why are you ignoring me? Hao Dagen blocked the road and once again showed his 8 big white teeth. This time Su Yao didn't walk away, but looked on guard and said, fortunately, we agreed on the 3 rules. Do you want to go back on your word? But Hao Dagen looked aggrieved. Manager, what's the saying? Once a husband, 100 days of kindness. We were at least husband and wife for a few hours. You can't be so cold just because you've only been here once. Besides, weren't you quite satisfied at the time? Su Yao seemed to have underestimated the shamelessness of the man in front of her. But when she thought back to what had happened not long ago, Suyao's attitude softened slightly. This man had countless flaws, but his strengths were also very prominent. They were complementary in a way. Just say what you want, Suyao asked. Ha-Dagon froze for a moment upon hearing this. Suyao didn't understand why he had suddenly become like this. She just looked at him with confusion. Ha-Dagon, on the other hand, inexplicably felt shy. Manager, that's not a good idea. People come and go in the bathroom all the time. Suyao understood now. To be honest, he really wanted to hit someone right now. Ha-Dagon didn't care about that, and just continued with his performance. Of course, if the target is the manager, I'm not saying I can't make a small sacrifice. Suyao really didn't want to deal with this time, and just walked in. Ha-Dagon didn't leave when he saw this. And after turning his eyes around, he followed. 6:30 p.m. Room 1202, Building 3, Gao Community. Ha-Dagon rarely got off work early, and encountered an unbearable scene. You fucking exhibitionist. Seeing his roommate unzipping his pants, Ha-Dagon couldn't help but swear. So it's you. Dagon, I thought someone was trying to rob my body. It turned out to be Holly Yangbing, who saw it was Ha-Dagon. Not only did he not stop what he was doing, he even intensified it. I envy you, Dagon. This is all capital. He turned around and said with a smirk, you're such a fucking pervert. Ha-Dagon said disdainfully, you're just jealous, okay? Holly Yangbing retorted, besides, didn't you used to like to compare endurance with your bodies? Why are you chickening out this time? Come on. Dagon, let's do it again. As he said, he pointed to the laptop on the coffee table. The sales of the empty cabin collector's edition hasn't even started yet. If you win, he'll be yours. Upon hearing this, Ha-Dagon's mouth twitched in exasperation. Well, I'm sorry. My body likes to put things into practice. Filling in the blanks is something only losers do. I can't stand it anymore. I want to try it out with you for real. Good. Ha-Dagon didn't lock it either, and directly rolled up his sleeves, revealing his biceps. Are you sure that people's nicknames, more or less, are related to certain characteristics that exist in themselves? Holly Yangbing Monkey is just like his name. Don't look at the height. It's a few centimeters taller than Ha-Dagon. It's almost more than 1.8 meters. But the person is like a bamboo stick, only 110 odd pounds. And the weight is already 140. Compared to Ha-Dagon, who had once had a gym membership, he was being comprehensively crushed. The main thing was, after some in-depth discussions with Suyao, Ha-Dagon keenly discovered that Up's improvement on him was not limited to just some aspects, but was comprehensive. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to eat on the high-speed railway sidewalk. Nima, a gentleman uses his mouth, not his hands. Buddy, I won't argue with you. After comparing the latitudes of the two sides and reviewing past records, Holly Yangbing immediately turned his gun, picked up the laptop on the table, and walked towards the bedroom. Hey, monkey, what are you doing? Seeing this, Ha-Dagon called out to the other person. He still has important things to do. Holly Yangbing turned back. Moving apart, they parted ways. Although Ha-Dagon was a bit speechless, Ha-Dagon still enjoyed his dislike and took out what was in his pocket. Monkey, are you sure you want to go back to the room now? Not only was my friend sure, he was also certain what. You still want to argue with me? This is something Holly Yangbing didn't notice. Ha-Dagon's tough face when he held the nuclear contamination. Then he immediately changed his face, because he saw the spiritual food. Oh, good boss, you struck it rich, looking at the cigarette in Ha-Dagon's hand. That kept jumping. Holly Yangbing's eyes directly glowed. Gee, was you all Greater China? Without Ha-Dagon having to say another word, he walked back happily. Come, good boss, good brother. I'll leave the priority right to use Kang Laoshi in your hands. My friend doesn't ask for much, just give me 3 or 5. The nicotine-addled Holly Yangbing immediately leapt on him like a teenage male dog, and offered him a charming smile. Seeing this, Ha-Dagon pushed him away in disgust. Go, pull up your trousers first. My friend doesn't have any special fetishes. Holly Yangbing nodded and curtsied. Yes, boss Ho. After a moment, Holly Yangbing began to wiggle his eyebrows again. Boss Ho, look, I've given you everything. Ha-Dagon directly threw an unopened pack of huasi at him. Holly Yangbing was taken aback by this generous act. It's not Dagon. Are you running out of time? Why have you suddenly become so generous? This is a 100 yuan pack of huasi. Not a 5 yuan pack of double happiness. The two have shared a flat for many years and know each other's personalities well. He had never seen Hadagan be so generous before. Hadagan loved to smoke. If he didn't smoke, he would die. Why ask so many questions? As he spoke, Hadagan reached out to take a bag. Oh no, Holy Yongping quickly stopped him. I was just saying that, buddy. Why are you taking it so seriously? Hadagan didn't continue. He just took out a Zippo lighter and indicated that he wanted to smoke first. Holy Yongping, who was already craving a cigarette, didn't think much of it and directly took it. A few moments later, the smoke was billowing. Hadagan glanced at his friend, who was puffing away enthusiastically, and began to get down to business. You know, monkey, I've always treated you like a good brother. Holy Yongping took a deep breath. It's a waste, MMHM. We're good brothers. So a brother is looking for money. Are you lending it or not? Holy Yongping was momentarily taken aback. He didn't spit out the smoke and almost choked. It's not Dagon. What did you say? Hadagan, on the other hand, was expressionless money. Didn't I just make it clear? Wait, what's that look on your face? I thought you said we were good friends. Why do you look like you've just lost your father? Holy Yongping started to lose his calm. He immediately became angry and rude. Damn it. I told you there was no reason for such attentiveness. It's either treachery or theft. First, he gave HUIC something, and now he offered to light my cigarette. I thought you'd finally come to your senses and start respecting me by giving me this shirt. No. I didn't expect it was because you want my assets. No way. No lion. No way. No loan. This is all I have left, and you still want it. Seeing this, Hadagan didn't say much. He just confirmed once again. No, I'm not lending it. Holy Yongping said very firmly. I'm not lending it to you. Unless you inherit it. This time, Hadagan just nodded and didn't say anything else. For this situation, he wasn't surprised. These days, people who agree to lend money more or less have some kind of true love in them. The reason he spoke up was simply to increase his capital and make more money in the stock market. Since it didn't work out, then forget it. Instead, Holy Yongping saw that Hadagan had instead come forward on his own initiative. Not Dagon. Are you really short of money? Hadagan glanced at him. The more the better. Holy Yongping really had an urgent matter. Naturally, Hadagan would not tell outsiders about stock speculation and the appearance of hidden prompts or even relatives. So in the face of Holy Yongping's inquiry, he only deliberately said, "Is a swindler considered not?" Holy Yongping was silent for a moment. He then said, "It's the same card number, right?" Hadagan hadn't even nodded yet when the 20,000 yuan deposit notification sounded. Don't say it's not enough. We haven't worked in months. That's all there is. You're not a monkey. This guy really is his own brother. He actually gave this much. Hadagan was moved. He was going to say a few words to his father to make the other person feel good. But Holy Yongping suddenly spoke up and dispelled the emotions he had been cultivating with great difficulty. "Big brother Dagon, you're like this. Can you lend me your wife for a bit?" Holy Yongping, love, dot. What's that face? Buddy, I just transferred 20,000 yuan to you. Is that all you can do? It's just a plastic doll. Is that really necessary? Hadagan finally couldn't hold back and spoke up. Is that just any doll? That's the Hatsune Miku Special Edition Holy Yongping. Sure, there's no discussion. Hadagan has to pay more. Forget it, buddy. I don't want it. If I lend you any more money, I'll have to sell blood to make a living. Then it seemed like he remembered something and asked with a twinkle in his eye, "Right, Dagon? Didn't you play that fantasy westward journey before? You even had a high-level account. Why are you suddenly asking about this?" Dagon looked at him a little puzzled. Why does this guy think about one thing after another? He almost couldn't react. But Holy Yongping's words did remind him. It seems like he could sell some of the valuable game accounts under his hand and maybe even increase his abilities a bit. Hey, wait, the most valuable thing in his possession seems to be that fantasy account, if I remember correctly. It seems to be a full-level account. How Dagon was recalling. Holy Yongping did come over again and winked. Then Dagon's wife, you're not willing to lend this game account. Is there a problem? Anyway, this guy has to work overtime every day. Why should you neglect the other person? Hadagan thought about it and felt that it seemed a bit inappropriate to refuse again. Besides, It seems that selling the account for that fantasy crap is quite slow. It seems to take half a month. By then, when the money arrives, the opportunity will be lost. So Hadagon directly hardened to, what's the rush? I'll just send you the account and password later. But Holy Yangping was not happy, and immediately urged him not to delay. I'll dream of you now. Don't forget to also verify with the general order. While talking, he took the laptop that had been left aside, and said, the game is all downloaded, just waiting for you to log in. Hadagon understood that this guy definitely came prepared. Hey, don't look at me like that. Buddy, I'm also full spy life. I haven't worked for months. I have to find a chance to make some money, otherwise, I'll just be sitting around eating up my savings. Holy Yangping saw that Hadagon's face had a strange expression, and quickly said, Hadagon was really stunned. Wait a minute, monkey. You mean you plan to make money off the crappy game? Holy Yangping will, then. After that, he hurriedly added, be quick about it. Don't just talk and do nothing. Seeing this, Hadagon didn't say anything, and began to log in while recalling the details. After a while, the familiar music began to float around the room. Fuck, Samira Israel, your account level is not low. Holy Yangping was so excited that Hadagon's words were useless. My buddy's account is full level. As he spoke, Hadagon moved his fingers and began to open the character interface for true 175 Big Dragon. After seeing Hadagon's account status, Holy Yangping immediately took over control of the laptop and started scanning it excitedly. The skills are almost all 160. The equipment is also there. The pet is still there. The hunting skill level is full. Haha, it's done. It's done. My buddy's plan is going to work. Hearing this, the fantasy veteran player Hadagon also more or less understood what Holy Yangping meant. So he immediately said with disbelief, Monkey, you kid, don't tell me you're going to catch babies in winter to make money. What's the difference between this and buying a lottery ticket? Holy Yangping, however, did not think so. Dragon, you don't understand. What you're talking about is a non-chief. As for my luck, how can those people compare with me? Besides, I bought all the accounts. There's no use talking about it anymore. As he spoke, Holy Yangping took out his phone and opened the treasure pavilion. Inside were 4 accounts with 175, with purchase records all laid out on top. What else could Hadagon say? He was also very desperate. This fantasy game has been around for more than 10 years. Everyone is selling their accounts and quitting. This guy actually spent tens of thousands of dollars to take over the game. What a brainless idiot. If you had lent him the tens of thousands of yuan, he would have been sure to pay it back, now that it was too late. There was no use talking about it. 1,000 words were reduced to just 1 sentence by Hadagon. Monkey, you're awesome, Holy Yangping. Hey. You're too kind, so I'll take Dagon's account for now. Before he could finish speaking, the guy was already walking excitedly towards the house with the computer. It was obvious that he planned to try it out first. Hadagon didn't say anything when he saw this. After all, he had borrowed 20,000 yuan for a crappy game account, so what if it was taken away? He wasn't losing anything anyway. But immediately, Hadagon experienced the law of true fragrance. ID 50 for 1188 game account is in a lucky period. If you use it to refine demons within 10 minutes, you will definitely obtain a 13 skill child demon within 5 times. 50 for 1188 refining demons 13 skill child demon. After a moment of days, Hadagon immediately reacted and refreshed it as a hidden hint, and this ID is not his own character account just now. Thinking of this, he hurriedly rushed into Holy Yangping's bedroom. Hadagon's sudden appearance in the bedroom scared Holy Yangping. Shit, Dagon. Why are you like a ghost, appearing behind your body? Face up, are you covered in my beauty, trying to copy the back door? As the saying goes, the more you explain, the more problems there are. Hadagon gave Holy Yangping a strange look, and then impatiently said, fuck off. I don't have time to explain. My body feels it coming on. With that, he snatched the computer from the other guy's hands and put it on the table to start working on it. Fuck you, you feel it coming on. You're looking for your limited edition Hatsune Miku. Why are you grabbing my computer? At first, Holy Yangping was a little confused. But once he realized what was going on,